In this video session, we will focus on a very important analytical tool in economics, which you will encounter right through your study of economics. And this is what we call a production possibility frontier, or a PPF curve. We can also say that is a production possibility curve or frontier as it's used in the textbook. Now, the first thing that we need to look at, we need to define what is a PPF curve. So this is the first thing that you need to understand. The definition of a PPF curve, basically it represents all possible combinations of two goods that can be produced in a certain period of time, and very important, under a given state of technology and fully employed resources. Now, if you look at that definition on your slide there, two important points are very critical here. It's the possible combinations of two goods. So we've got only a two-good model. We assume that there are only two goods in the economy. That is very important. So this is theory. We're busy with microeconomic theory, so when we deal with theory, we assume certain things. So there's only two goods in the economy. And what is the PPF frontier? Just going back to the slide there, it represents the possible combinations of these two goods that can be produced in a given period of time, maybe a year, a month, or whatever. And what are the two conditions? Is that we're operating with a given state of technology, so technology cannot be improved. Technology remain the same, and fully employed resources. What we mean by fully employed resources, we simply means that we already use all the resources. That means capital, labor, entrepreneurship, and natural resources. We use all of that resources already to the maximum. There's no excess resources that we can still use to produce possible combinations of the two goods. So that is the first thing that you need to understand. What is a PPF curve? Then when we look at the first type of PPF curve, and this is where a PPF curve can be used to illustrate constant opportunity cost. Remember, we define opportunity cost in the first chapter, where we said that opportunity cost is the cost of the best alternative that you forego or that you forfeit when a choice is being made. So when we look at this table here, and maybe we can, that combination or the table there on your slide, you will see the economy can produce 5 combinations of goods. Now, that combinations are then being used to plot a PPF curve. So if we look at the combinations there, A, 4 books and 0 thirds, combination B, 3 books and 1 third, and combination C, 2 books and 2 thirds, and D, 1 book and 3 thirds, and E, 0 and 4 thirds. So these are possible combinations. There are more. Okay, but we just focus on 5 combinations which the economy can produce of the two goods in the economy. Now, if we plot that on a graph in a two-dimensional space, this is a two-dimensional vertical axis and horizontal axis. Let's just use a diagram to plot. That is books. Books are, let's say that is B, and then thirds, that is S. Okay, so when we plot this PPF curve, we will see it will be a straight line, and there's a reason why it will be. Now, if you look at combination A, say there are 4 books that is being produced and 0 thirds. And combination B, 3 books, if you just use, that is 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and the same on the vertical axis, 1. So this is your vertical axis units and your horizontal axis. That is your thirds and this is your books. So when 4 books are being produced, 0 thirds are being produced. When 3 books are produced, then 1 third is being produced. So this is combination A, this is combination B. When 2 books are being produced, 2 thirds are being produced. So you are plotting now the points. What you are using is 4 and 0, 3 and 1. These are the coordinates of your curve. Okay, we call it coordinates. 2 books and 2 thirds. These are the coordinates of the curve. Then if 1 book is being produced, 3 thirds are being produced. That is the combination for D, and this is C. And then when when 0 books are being produced, how many certs are being produced? 4. So that is combination E. Okay. So if you complete the points, you will see from point A to point E, this is your PPF curve, say PPF 1. So that PPF indicates it's a straight line. Now let's see why is it a straight line, and you can also use the broken lines there to make it easier for you. That is the broken lines. So these are the different combinations, A, B, C, or D and E, which can be produced with a given state of technology and with the available resources. So let's look at combination A. To move from combination A to B, when you produce combination A, gives you 4 books and 0 certs. But we don't only want to produce books, we also want to produce certs. So we want to produce maybe combination B, which will give you 3 books and 1 cert. Okay. Now, what is the opportunity cost of moving from point A to point B? How many books must you sacrifice or forfeit to produce 1 cert? So, to move from combination A to B, you are sacrificing 1 cert to produce one book to produce 1 cert. Okay. To move from combination B to C, here you're producing 3 books, but you want to produce 2 certs, an additional cert. So how many books are you sacrificing? From 3 to 2 is 1 to produce a second cert. And also from 2 to 1, and you want to produce another cert, you want to produce 3 certs. So how many books are you sacrificing? Every time you're sacrificing 1. So to move from A to B, from B to C, from C to D, from D to E, you are sacrificing every time 1 book to produce an additional cert. So basically, what is the opportunity cost of producing every time an additional cert? It is 1 book. Every time it remains constant. So in that case, if the opportunity costs remain constant from moving from A to B, B to C, C to D, or D to E, then the PPF curve will be indicated by a straight line. So a straight line PPF will indicate constant opportunity cost. Okay, so that is the important conclusion drawn from this. Okay, but opportunity costs are not always constant. In reality, opportunity costs are changing, it's increasing. So if you look at opportunity cost that is increasing, we can go to slide of exhibit 2. And you will see again there are 5 combinations. Cell phones and coffee makers are the 2 products here. So when we draw this diagram, what is being measured on the vertical axis is coffee makers, or in this case, cell phones. Cell phones are measured on the vertical axis, and then coffee makers are measured, the production of coffee makers are measured on the horizontal axis. Okay? Now I won't ask you in the exam to draw this curve, but you need to know where is it coming from and what is it indicating. And you must be able to interpret this curve. Okay? So what are we saying? If you just measure all of these points, I'm just going to focus on a couple of points. That is combination A. Now combination A is indicating 10 cell phones and 0 coffee makers. Then there's combination B. Combination B is indicating 9 cell phones and 1 coffee maker. So that is combination B. And combination C is reflecting 7 cell phones. So if you look at combination C, and then how many coffee makers? 2 coffee makers. And then combination D, if you look at combination D, it's reflecting 3 coffee makers and how many cell phones? 4 cell phones. That is combination D. And in the last combination is combination E, that is reflecting 4 coffee makers and 0 cell phones. So that is combination E. Okay, so that is the 4 combinations. You have plotted the combination. Now there are more combinations, but we just focus on the 2 goods. That is being, the 5 combination of the 2 goods that can be produced with a given state of technology and with the fully employed resources. So if you look at all of these coordinates, what are the coordinates? It's 10, 0, 9, 1, 7, 2, 4, 3, and then 0, 4. So these are the possible combinations in this economy. So what are you doing now? You're just completing the points. Okay, so this is your PPF curve. But what is different from this PPF curve to the one that we done in the previously, is that this PPF curve is, as they mentioned, is concave downwards, right? So that is very important. It's concave downwards, or it's bowed outwards. Concave downwards or bowed outwards. Now, what do we mean by concave? Concave means is that the curve is bulging away from the origin. So this curve is concave. Concave downwards or bulging outwards or bowed outwards. And the reason for this is simply because as you move along from A to B, you are sacrificing one cell phone to produce one coffee maker. As you move from B to C, you are sacrificing 2 cell phones to produce an additional coffee maker, to move from 1 to 2. If you move from C to D, there is the opportunity cost is 1. The opportunity cost is 2 here. Here it will be 3, from 7 to 4. So what are you seeing? As we move along, as we produce more coffee makers, the opportunity cost of coffee makers increases as we move along this curve. So, and this is the reason why the curve is bowed outwards or concave downwards, and that indicates is what opportunity cost. It indicates increasing opportunity cost. So if the PPF curve is concave downwards or bowed outwards away from the origin, then it indicates increasing opportunity cost. Then we say the curve is concave downwards or bowed outwards. And this is in reality what happens, is that the more of a good that you produce, the more coffee makers that you produce, the more you're sacrificing cell phones. It means that the more coffee makers you produce, the higher the opportunity cost of coffee makers. So the more is the sacrifice. And that is because of which law? The law of increasing opportunity cost. So it simply means that the more of a good you produce, and they mention it in your textbook as well, then you say that the opportunity cost will increase as you produce more of that good. Okay, so we have looked at, now to summarize, we have looked at 2 types of opportunity cost. We have looked at opportunity cost that is constant, that is reflected by a straight line PPF curve, and then we had an PPF curve that is bowed outwards or concave downwards, which indicates increasing opportunity cost. And that is the 2 types of PPF curves that we encounter. In reality, I will only test you more or less on the bowed outwards or the concave downward PPF curve. So this is the first important analytical tool that you will encounter in economics.